Well, I have a new method of sharpening that I'm not yet going to reveal, but I'm going to go out and see. Late last night in the dark, I went out and tried it with a little bit of a floodlight, but I'm curious to see. I'm going to go ahead and cut a little bit with this chain and see what it looks like. My intention is today is to go ahead and cut up that sick bucket up. I need to get it out of the trailer as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and get this filled up. Figured I'd talk with y'all a little bit while I do that. How about this bench? I got it good and clean. About out of that oil. Got another, that stuff I got at FATWOOD for like 10 bucks. Whoops. Oh boy, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. Oh boy, spilling a whole bunch of two-stroke right on the bench. How about that? Picked up from my Echo dealer here, my local Echo dealer. I bought another one of these. I like these. I've been filling this one up just repeatedly with larger quantities, like 5-gallon containers or whatever. Fill this up. I like it because the 3.2 ounces is the 40-to-1 mix. That's pretty nice. They're selling these for like $16, so that's a great deal for 6 gallons worth of mix if you mix it at 50-to-1. And I wanted to have an extra one just in case this were to spring a leak from squeezing the bulb so much. It's my 562. This I do not want to spill. What a mess. If I do that, that'd be silly. But I am known to do that kind of stuff. Spill, spill, spill. Go ahead and give this a crank. Let it warm up. It is a little cooler today. While I let that warm up, I'm going to go ahead and get my safety on. I don't do this just for optics for the channel. I know I'd get a lot of comments if I didn't, but at the same time, you know, like Indiana Doug, he had that recent experience where he got in this, he was cutting and he got into his chaps. And let's face it, whether you're an expert or not, an accident can happen. And I'm certainly, I'd say I'm reasonably proficient at cutting with a saw, and I'm fairly aware of what is going on. But I'm not going to be too proud to assume it can't happen. And I've got little boys and a wife to take care of. Just my perspective. I also don't want something like that to ruin my desire to cut, right? Imagine if I just injured myself and I became a little bit gun shy about cutting. Don't want that to happen either. Get this on. I'm gonna just come out here. This is not gonna be really eventful just yet. I plan on getting into some more sycamore if this chain is cutting nicely. I'm gonna pull the stuff off the trailer and buck it up. And I actually do want to try to hand split some of it as well. So let's give it a shot here. I'll just take you right over here to the oak. The little guy that I cut down with my with the axe the other day. See how this chain is cutting. pretty happy with that. I think it's cutting pretty well. A little bit of moisture in there. Look at that, that's interesting. These are the trees that always go hollow. This is a very young tree. And you can see, got a lot of moisture sitting in there. And there's not rot, but there's a hole. Nothing starting up here. It's got this little crack. Really interesting. Let's see if this chain's cutting any better here. Then I'm on a pursuit, everyone. I want my saws to cut better. I really do. I want them to cut better. So what do we think? It's cutting like butter, and I kind of wanted some larger chip out of it, to be honest with you, but I'm getting chips. I'm gonna go ahead and continue to buck this up. I'm gonna limb this out with this 562. Let's just see how it does. We're also in cooler weather, everybody. I'm kind of curious to see if the hot start stuff alleviates itself with the 562. That'll go down the hill. All right. What I'm gonna do is just trim this stuff up now. I'm gonna burn the rest of this, and then I will get some firewood out of here. All right, let's start bucking up here. gonna chuck this wood up here, closer to the trail. This should be nice little firewood. Not for this year. I really do respect those guys that make a living logging on the side of the mountain, because it's harder to cut on a slope, and I don't even have an extreme slope compared to some of those mountains. Harder to cut on the side than it is to cut on flat ground. I'm gonna grab all this later. As you can tell, there's a lot of brush to get cleaned up in the woods. When you own woods, you can just let it be, but if you want it to be prettier, you know, I'm gonna finally cut down that pine snag right there. That needs to get cut, huh? What do you think, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's cut that down.
Yeah, I've been chopping on that for.
Yeah. I see that.
It was going the way I wanted it.
You really shouldn't be hitting an axe on a dead tree, buddy, because as you hit on it, chunks can fall off the top.
That's true.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Not good. Okay. This is one of those things I've needed to get to. I just haven't done it. Come over here and show the rot down here. It almost looks like a rotten pole. That's how poles rot out. Utility poles. All right, go ahead and back up now. I'm gonna cut it, buddy. I want you to be in a safe location, okay?
Okay.
Back up and zoom in. Do like number 1 or number 2, okay? Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's do that hot start thing again. I'm gonna just start it like I would expect to start any saw. I love this saw, but this is definitely, in my circumstance, this is just something that this 562 has. One pull, not bad. I mean, that's what I expect, really. Wow. That's pretty cool. That slid on down the valley, didn't it? Yeah. It was starting to. It does weigh a ton. Imagine if that would have fallen on you, bud. Right? Look at that. Really interesting, everybody. These pines, this is how they rot. They're opposite of my oaks. Your outside layers have a tendency to rot first, and then you end up with this strong post in the middle. Fatwood, basically.
Yeah.
This is straight up fatwood.
It's the stuff that has like the red right there.
Well, this whole center is rich in resin. Okay, so this whole center is really a good fire starter. Look how solid that is. Really interesting. The oaks rot exactly the opposite. They lose their core, and then the outside stay solid. This is opposite. So pretty cool. My pines they drop limbs, but they generally don't break off large sections of top. Now, of course they can, okay? But really, really, really interesting. I mean, when I was cutting that, basically this didn't break off like the hinge. I mean, all this kind of acted like a hinge, but this is termite eaten. But this basically just broke out of the base. So really, realistically, this tree more than likely would have fallen by breaking, I think, at the base versus at the top or something. So that was a good thing. I needed to get that out of the way. So that's all we're gonna do in here for now. What I wanna do is I wanna go ahead and see if I can get that sycamore off of that trailer, which means I need to hook up the truck to the trailer. And my son and I are gonna go ahead and get started on that. We'll see you in a bit. All right, so we're gonna tie a loop here. Yeah, let's see if it works. So we've got that. We're gonna try to pull this off with that. It's gonna get heavy.